The city of canals, the floating city, Serenissima. The names for this picturesque city are plenty. With its winding canals, striking architecture, and beautiful bridges. Come along with me as I explore why winter is the best time to be visiting. Strap on your walking boots because no cars allowed.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up.
Welcome to Venice everyone, and welcome back to my video in this continuation of my adventures here in Italy. So I just got off the train from Rome earlier on, so this begins my Venice episode, and yeah, I'm right here in the city of canals. This absolutely feels like Rome, but the only difference is you've got waterways everywhere. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm seriously stoked because I've only read about Venice, I've only seen it in pictures, but to actually see it in real life is just absolutely mind-blowing. Now, my hotel is just around the corner from Santa Lucia, which is the main railway station that I got off the train from, which explains why I have so many canals, because this is where it begins. So for the next, hopefully for the next 20 to 30 minutes, I'll take you around Venice to show you what am I doing here for my entire stay. I'll be here for about 1.5 days. Yeah. So this is what it's gonna be. So come along with me and see what I can get up to here in Venice.
Everybody just do your thing.
Welcome to Venezia, otherwise known to the outside world as Venice. The total population today sits just under 260,000 residents, and we're here today visiting a cluster of islands off the main shoreline. And there are about 51,000 permanent residents who reside here. These islands are called Centro Storico, and the rest of Venice on the mainland is terraferma. It has been consistently ranked highly as a major cultural center, described as one of Europe's most romantic cities, and is considered undoubtedly the most beautiful city built by man. Stepping out of the main railway station in Stazione di Venezia Santa Lucia, you're greeted by this painfully beautiful scenery. The temptation to immediately whip out your phone to start snapping photos is definitely basic instinct. But my advice is to pace yourself, because you absolutely cannot take a bad picture of this city. Shit, even the trash cans are beautiful. And that piece of dog poo randomly plopped at one corner also suddenly feels like it's got some artistic value. So yeah, your phone will definitely be working very hard throughout your stay. If you're new to my channel, my name's Ryan. Born and bred in Singapore, I now call Australia home, and I create heaps of travel and foodie content. This trip to Venice is a small part of a wider travel series which sees us set foot in 7 countries over 2.5 weeks. Our first stop was Singapore, where we went to France and then ended up in Malta, where we'd spend most of our time in. From there, we traveled through Italy, Switzerland, UK, and finally Vietnam before returning home to Australia. So this travel series will include heaps of flight reviews, train journeys, and destination vlogs to last a few months, and they will be linked in the description below as and when they're published. If you don't wish to miss any episodes, make sure you hit the subscribe and the bell icon so you'll get notified whenever they go to air. Giving me a like will encourage me to keep content flowing. So here's a thanks, because your support is very much appreciated. The first stop after getting off the train was settling into our hotel. We chose the AC Venezia Hotel by Marriott. This hotel is located not too far from Stazione di Venezia Santa Lucia, and it was about a 15-minute walk from train to lobby entrance. This is most convenient because let's not forget, if you're staying at a hotel nestled within the middle of Venice, good luck getting there with your luggage because the only form of transport within the city is your trusty pair of feet. This hotel is cozy. There are only 79 rooms, so it never feels crowded. The interior is rustic modern with lots of relaxing earthy tones to soothe your tired eyes after a long journey. It was very cold today, so the heating was thankfully very strong. So much so, my immediate thoughts was snuggling within the sheets to take a nap. Very nice. I like it. Everywhere. What's this? Pizza. Everywhere I look, I want to take a photo. Everywhere I turn, I want to film a video. This is how beautiful Venice is. I can't stop. My neck hurts already, and I've only been here for a couple of hours, and my neck is already hurting. Oh my god. Oh. There are really no historical records about how Venice was founded. It's believed the original population of Venice were refugees fleeing nearby Roman cities to escape successive invasions. Today, much of historical Venice has been designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, covering an area of over 70,000 hectares. You've heard me mention several times now throughout this travel series about the Renaissance period and how this is tied to Baroque architectural styles. Well, Venice showcases this very well, and much like other historical cities in Italy, Venezia is almost Baroque on steroids. It is now time for dinner. And what do you know? My Italian seafood theme for this travel series continued tonight right here. Hubby began his Venice experience with a schnitzel, and I went for the menu said fish soup. But what arrived on the table was this bowl, choked full with all kinds of seafood imaginable. I was picturing they just tipped this bowl into the canal, dragged it along the bottom, and this was what appeared. The stock was richly sweet, and the unmistakable heavy crustacean aftertaste was undeniable. A heavy dose of white wine added another layer of flavor profile for this amazing dinner in this city of canals. It tasted like the canal, but in a good way. And this was truly an amazing start to our meals in this beautiful city. Oh, wow. I ordered a fish soup, but I got a bowl of everything that was just so good. It's almost like a bouillabaisse. I think I can make that soup because I've made a bouillabaisse before. Yeah, but I mean, that was just delicious. Buongiorno and welcome to day number 2 here in Venice. Now, the thing is, I'm not really a museum person, but if you are, there are heaps of museums to visit when you're here. But since I'm not a museum person, I'm just gonna walk around because I'm more of an architectural type of guy. I like to look at different sorts of facades and all, and of course the food. So last night was great. We found some fantastic restaurants, and they are not as expensive as compared to Rome. So I'm pretty excited because today is the first full day we have in Venice. Well, in fact, it's the only full day that we have because I'm leaving for Zurich tomorrow. But let's concentrate on today, where I'll walk around Venice to see what this fantastic city of canals has to offer. Now, this island behind me, that is where we're going to be concentrating our visit on. That is San Polo, I think, and we're heading to Piazza San Marco. That's where I will get on a gondola ride later today. Alright, so let's get today started. Let's do this. The name Venezia is derived from the Veneti people who inhabited this region from the middle of the 2nd millennium BC and developing their own civilization into the 1st millennium BC. Venice was a sovereign republic between 810 to 1797. Because of its protected location, it was also a major maritime and financial powerhouse during that period. Because of its prominence in trading silk, grain, and spices, the city-state is widely acknowledged to be the world's first ever financial center, emerging in the 9th century, reaching its peak in the 14th century. You've heard of the explorer Marco Polo. Thanks to him, he gave the world the first glimpse into China in the 13th century, and there are historians who argue that he was the one who introduced pasta into Italy during that time, based on what he saw in China with noodles and such. And voila! Marco Polo was born right here in Venice. This is perhaps the most photographed bridge in all of Venezia, if not Italy. It is the oldest bridge in Venice, and it is made of stone, which connects the district of San Marco, where I'm on, to San Polo across the canal. Welcome to Ponte di Rialto. When you see this bridge behind, and then you turn around, and you look at the view there, that encapsulates everything that is Venice. Of course, because this is the Grand Canal, so all the gondolas you see will be here, and from here they zip around inside the smaller canals, but this is what Venice is. You see behind me, yeah? The bridge today was completed in 1591, and it was ahead of its time because of its complicated design, a single stone bridge arcing over water. Naysayers predicted this bridge would collapse sometime in the future. Not only did this not happen, Rialto Bridge has defied its critics to become an architectural icon and one of the top tourist attractions in Venice. Interestingly, this bridge replaced two older bridges in the same location, both of which collapsed in 1444 and again in 1524. Today, retail shops are found on both sides of the bridge, and the rental collected from these tenants go into the maintenance of this bridge to make sure it will last for many more years to come. Navigating about historical Venice is entirely on foot, because if you haven't noticed, these streets are devoid of cars. For one, the roads are too narrow, and secondly, there's just no way for them to cross any bridges. I love walking down these narrow lanes away from the main thoroughfare because you come across hidden cafes like this one here. I think it's high time to stop for a morning coffee and some sweets, don't you think? I really do love Italian sweets, but I'm always distracted by croissants. So today, I decided to stand firm and got myself 3 cannolis: chocolate, pistachio, and vanilla. A variation of this dessert is also found in Malta, and they taste the same. So let's go with the one here this morning. The filling is rich, creamy, and very sweet. I just thank God I'll be clocking so many steps today, so I did not mind indulging. Otherwise, trust me, I do not eat like that all the time. After that breakfast snack, I really felt the need to work it all off by upping my heartbeat. Walking just wasn't cutting it, so I donned a pair of skates and off I went. This workout was just what the doctor ordered, and despite falling over a few times, I eventually got the hang of it, I think. Everyone should try this sometime. Then you'll no longer laugh at the competitive ice skaters flawlessly executing those amazing routines you see on TV. It's really hard work. For the first time in my life, I'm skating on ice. We got a fall. That's how we learn. But that was fun. I'm glad my hips and my back survived those fall. That was fun. It was really, really fun. Exhausting, but fun. Yeah. We're now walking into what is perhaps the world's most famous piazzas. Welcome to Piazza San Marco, known in English as St. Mark's Square. Looking at the other end, this piazza is dominated by Basilica San Marco. The facade has been adorned by arches, marble decoration, and Romanesque carvings. The four horses you see are a symbol of pride and power in Venice, when she was an independent republic. Napoleon Bonaparte invaded and conquered Venice in 1797, and the republic was then dissolved. During that time, those horses were removed because they represented the independence of Venice. Piazza San Marco is one of the lowest points in Venice, so it is no surprise this square can flood whenever the tide is high, and it has happened several times in recent memory. Time flies, and my rumbling tummy meant what else but lunch. That plate of spaghetti isn't mine, because I decided to order something a little unique: squid in squid ink and tasty buttery cubes of polenta. As I savor this delicious dish and watch myself transform unknowingly into a gothic mess with my black lips, I made an interesting observation during my time in Italy. A lot of these traditional Italian eateries are now Chinese-owned, and these business owners don't speak much English, but they converse fluently in Chinese-accented Italian. How's that for adaptation? And this is something I admire about migrants truly pushing themselves to make it work. Our next activity needs no introduction. Wherever in the world you're from, you've probably heard about what a gondola is even before you've heard of Venice. These sleek-looking wooden boats have been the mainstay of the Venice Canal scenery since the 11th century. It is estimated that about 10,000 gondolas were zipping about during its peak between the 17th and 18th century. Because of the way Venice is set up, it was the public transport of choice. In present-day Venezia, there are only about 400 of these gondolas left, and they are almost exclusively used by tourists like us wanting to get the full immersive experience. No one really knows how the word gondola came about despite several theories. The boat is skillfully guided by a gondolier, and you can just about see him behind me. These guys go through 400 hours of training over 6 months, an apprenticeship, followed by a major comprehensive exam. This written test includes knowledge of Venetian history, foreign language skill, and other practical handling skills related to the gondola. And get this, once they're licensed, they can earn up to $150,000 annually. Out on the Grand Canal, most of these buildings date between the 13th to 18th century. During that time, traffic along this canal went along it rather than across it. So for a long time, there was only one Rialto bridge which allowed traffic to cross this canal. As a consequence, wealthy Venetian families used the canal to show off their richness in these ornate facades. In line with the times in which they were constructed, some of these structures emerged from water without pavement, and the only way to access them is by a boat. You'll see numerous facades like Venetian Gothic, Venetian Baroque, and Neoclassical architecture, all time-stamped, giving you an idea of how and when Venice developed as a city. By the way, these gondolas are a very stable vessel, only when everyone is seated in their rightful place. Once you're in it, do not move about because, well, this will happen. So, do you wish to get on a gondola like we've done today? Let me know in the comments below. Well guys, with much reluctance, it is now the final night in Venice, and we're just gonna have our last dinner somewhere close to the hotel, and then we will call it a night, and that's when I will conclude this video for Venice. So yeah, let's go for dinner right now and get out of the cold because it is seriously freezing tonight. So I can't wait to get some warmth. So let's go for dinner now. Let's do this. Sometimes what attracts me to a restaurant is the old decor within. The more outdated it looks, my curiosity becomes more intense. And that was how I chose to walk into this curious-looking trattoria. If you only speak English, then this place will be a challenge, because the staff here either speaks Italian or Mandarin. Yep, it's another Chinese-owned Italian restaurant. And since I'm conversant in Mandarin, communication wasn't a problem at all. And the inner Chingchong in me could not resist a plate of pan-fried dumplings, and it was strangely paired together with a grilled sea bream. What a delicious dinner this was! And this is also the perfect time for me to sum up my thoughts about Venice in winter. Since this is my first visit to Italy, and having come here after Rome, comparisons with the capital city is inevitable. I found Venice heaps more enjoyable than Rome. For one, it is a lot cleaner, and I did not see any scammers out there to cheat you out of your hard-earned dollars. The restaurants in Venice are also a lot more reasonably priced, but I do wonder if that's because it's considered low season. The crowd in Venice is also a lot more manageable. But be prepared to walk though, because there's literally no public transport within the city. There are water taxis which takes you up and down the canal, but I did not partake in that because weaving about these narrow streets on foot really gives you an opportunity to take Venice in. And that's how I like it. Discovering little coffee shops, curio pushcarts, and crossing cute little bridges. Venice almost feels like a giant theme park. So do I recommend Venice in winter? Absolutely. In fact, I do all of Italy in winter. Come summer, the tourist crowd expands many times over, and I reckon it would be a nightmare dealing with that and the heat. So for a peace of mind, I'd do this all over again in winter. Do you agree with me? Let me know in the comments below. Meanwhile, let's join live Ryan after dinner to conclude this video. Well guys, we have come to the end of the Venice episode. Have you been to Venice before? And if you have not, would you like to come to Venice after watching this episode? So let me know in the comments because I'm pretty eager to hear from you. So in the meantime, I've chucked details of my Instagram on your screen right now. So hit me up there and chuck me a follow so you can actually see where am I traveling to in real time. And it will also give you an idea of the type of videos that will be coming up on my YouTube channel. So in the meantime, do not forget to iscriviti e suona il campanello. Grazie, and I will see you for the next episode as I head up north to Switzerland, where I'll say bonjour, guten tag, and buongiorno. So take care all of you, stay safe, and I will see you for my next video. Bye!